Welcome to the California Real Estate Investor Podcast. I have an old friend and quite a story for you today with Ashton Ramsey. Ashton and I go way back to 2012, 13, Great Recession times. We were eyeing these homes just outside of Detroit along the lake there and did a deal back then. We'll talk briefly about that. We're going to cover that in another episode of Out of State Investing. Today, what I have for you is we're going to really dig into a motel that he purchased in the desert here, Joshua Tree area, 29 Palms. We're going to just dig into some before and after pictures if you're connecting through the YouTube channel. I look forward to talking to Ashton. Ashton, welcome and thanks for joining us today.
Hi, it's Alan here from the California Real Estate Investor Podcast. I want to share with you two cool free resources. First of all, our Facebook group, California Real Estate Investor. I'll put a link in the show notes. You can connect with us there, share stories, share about what you're doing, where you are in California, and we look forward to that. And then secondly, the website, the CaliforniaRealEstateInvestor.com. I've just uploaded a free mini course about flipping luxury homes. You can download there. If you're flipping homes and you want to make more profit per deal by going higher end with your flips, that's a great resource for you. So check that out. I look forward to connecting with you on the other side.
Thank you. Good. Yeah, good to talk to you. And thank you for getting me started in my real estate career. You've been so awesome helping me identify properties, talking through all my projects and, what the next move is. And it's been really great. So this is fun to recap a lot of the stuff that we've done.
Yeah, you first got involved back in the day. I was traveling and teaching workshops on investing, and we picked up, well, I should say me and a few business partners of mine, we were working together and we were picking up properties off the banks in just outside of Detroit along the lake there. And you heard about it. You heard how you could pick up this home. What did you buy this property for? Let me pull up a picture of it here.
I bought it for $33,000. Everyone said not to do it. I'm looking at it. I had always been crazy about real estate. I knew I wanted to invest. And you basically told me about what you were doing and the prices. And I was like, this is nuts. I could actually afford this. I could actually get a $33,000 house, which seemed unbelievable. So we drove out there, or we flew out there to see it, because for me it was almost good enough to do it sight unseen.
There it is.
I saw a picture of that house. Yeah, for that to have happened was pretty nuts.
Yeah, that was amazing. And you still own the property. It's been rented this whole time. We'll talk about that in another episode, like everything you learned about owning out of state. I think it'd be a really good episode for people looking to just get involved in out of state investing. But now your journey has evolved, and over the years you got involved in property management. You were managing vacation rentals. Tell us about that.
I was passionate about real estate. I wanted to be investing in real estate. I was working in TV. I was working in film, and I needed an excuse to learn about the market, to be in it, and to be investing. And so my business partner moved out here from Rome. He had a vacation rental business in Rome. He managed 40 properties.
And when you say he moved out here, just so our listeners know, you were in Los Angeles, correct?
Yeah, in Los Angeles. So one of my best friends, he decides to move out. He doesn't have a job. He needs to do something. And I knew what he used to do. And so I said, what are you talking about? Like, why aren't you starting this in Los Angeles? He wasn't sure about it. He was looking at, to get into other careers or other types of work. And then I said, look, I will quit what I'm doing and I will start this with you if you want to start. And that was in 2014, right when people were just kind of getting on Airbnb. It was more VRBO and HomeAway at that time. So we started and we got a portfolio of 60 homes and some of the most incredible homes in the world. We had Britney Spears who were Valentine's Day on the beach in Malibu with us, and have rented homes for $12,000 a night, and have rented just the most incredible homes, and have rented really cool studio apartments out of garages. But for the most part, we said that all the homes have to be elegant, even if they are small or even if the price point is not as crazy. We have to have style and we have to have something unique that we're offering.
Wow, wow, wow. So if someone listening wanted to get more into the management of vacation rentals like that, because that sounds pretty exciting and it seemed like your company grew pretty rapidly, what would you recommend to them?
I mean, honestly, it is just do it. Literally, the thing that stops people from doing things is doing it. You know, what does it take to actually manage, you know, a house? Just doing it. So you know that was something that we came across when we decided to do it. You know, it helped to feel like my business partner had done it before. He knew that his skill set was not acquiring properties and talking to people about getting their houses listed with us and stuff. And I knew that that was exactly what my skill set was. But I had the comfort of knowing that he had done it before, that he had, you know, knew what he was doing. And in some way, you just have to do, you have to decide that you're doing this. You have to tell people to trust you, and you better be able to deliver once you do that, you know. But if you're confident that you want to deliver, you'll be able to deliver. You know, you'll find a way to make sure that their properties are taken care of, that you are learning everything that you need to know as you go. Yeah, but we had a lot of questions. Is this sustainable? Will people trash the houses? Will it just be a nightmare after a nightmare? And then that's not very fun for us, as we are responsible with the owners, and at least our conscience is, you know, if we're dealing with fires every day. But it turned out to be very sustainable and fun. Good. And yeah, lots of lessons there that have carried on to what I'm doing now.
Yeah, I have a YouTube episode where I challenge Dave Ramsey because he's shouting on his show about how short-term Airbnb tenants trash units and this and that. And I don't even know if he's ever even owned a short-term rental. I've done over 1,000, you know, as a host, I've hosted way over 1,000 nights, both everything from like a small, tiny studio apartment building in a lower income neighborhood to, you know, like a beach home. So as a host, I've done all of those and I have not had people trash units. You know, occasionally you have a situation you got to deal with, but I've actually noticed that people are mostly not even in the place. They're usually out at a wedding or dinner or the beach or whatever they're doing. They're not there to just sit in this home the whole time. But anyways, don't get me started. So you did the short-term vacation rental management, and that was really like a training ground, and you started buying some of your own. That's what maybe started you in the desert, is doing some homes that you purchased to fix up and do short-term rental. Also, which we're going to dig into because I want to get into some of the numbers on those on another episode. And then that led you to what we really want to talk about today, which is this motel that you bought that was run down and fixed up. So you started doing some projects there in the desert. And then you came across this, it started with a restaurant, right? Is that what happened?
So I learned from managing homes for other people in Los Angeles from all of my owners. How did they acquire what they did? You know, how did they get where they were? Now, some people were, you know, doctors or actors or directors, had made a lot of money. And then there was a few, or probably a lot more than a few, but there was a few that made money in real estate in creative ways. And so we had one owner named Spin, and he said, look, I moved to Venice before it was really popular. It was starting to be popular to buy bungalows in Venice for nothing. And, you know, I think 200,000-300,000, you know, and those are 2 million now. And he said, but I looked to where other people were not looking. Everyone's looking at buying the bungalow next door. I found this giant commercial oil change garage and I bought it. And it's now a converted, you know, 3 luxury unit, but he basically has this compound and it has 3 units in it. It's insane. And it's so insane that we rented one of the luxury units, and we started renting that for him, to the founder of Airbnb, Brian Chesky. Super Bowl winning football players in their off season was, you know, they would come and stay with us for a month or two, you know, all kinds of guests we had there. But
hold on. So this place was like a Jiffy Lube or something, like somewhere where people got oil changes, and he converted it to like a luxury multi-unit compound. Wow.
Yeah. It had these insane walls and it was half the block. So I said, okay, I'm looking at all these houses in the desert. It's great. Other people are looking. The prices are ridiculous, from 50,000 to they maxed out at that time at, 300,000. And so I was looking around, but I said, well, what have I got? A motel? What if I got a commercial spot that someone's not looking at? And so I found this complex that's called Tin Town, and it has all these buildings on it. And one of the they were leasing out to different people, and it was an old motel, and they had kind of deconstructed the plumbing, and they had created artist residencies. They said, but really they were renting to offices, and then they had a restaurant on it. So I was going to convert it all back to a motel, have the restaurant, put in a pool, and that's how I got started. And we had Kitchen the Desert, who had been there for I think about 6 months at the time.
That's the name of the restaurant.
Yeah.
Kitchen in the Desert is the name of the restaurant.
Kitchen in the Desert.
Got it.
So Everton Gordon is the owner and chef of that. I bought the property. And he came by. As I was looking at it, he asked, "Can I help you? What are you looking for?" We said, "Oh, we're just looking to rent an office space here." And I had no idea what the business was. It really wasn't in my mind of making the deal one way or the other. And so when I closed, we had a meeting and just decided. We talked about what he was doing, what I was doing, and then kind of looked to see if it aligned. And he said, look, I'm trying to make the most incredible food out here and provide the most incredible experience so people from LA and New York and around the country and around the world can come and have something that's unique. I said, well, that's exactly what I'm doing too. I'm trying to make something really special. We took his concept. I partnered with him to get a liquor license, and we, have been pushing it forward. And it's been, a lot of sacrifice from both of us just the entire way. I've been more of a silent partner, so he's been really so much sweat equity, but I need to get off the ground and provide something for this space. So I helped him as much as I could. I can't give him enough credit for everything that he's done to make it, the hit that it is now. But so that's where it started.
That's where it started. Okay, got it. So you actually bought that commercial property that the restaurant was in. How did the motel come? The motel was like next door. And how did that come about?
I'm trying to convert the complex into a motel with a restaurant. In the meantime, the city tells me that they don't have it on record, that they can see that it was a motel, and that I would have to, go through a change of use. And so that sort of made me pause. And then after that, the motel down the street became for sale. It was for sale when I bought the first one for $800,000, and they put it on the market for $1 million. And I said, well, I can't afford that. I was telling all my friends to buy this motel, join me on the block, and this will be super cool. And I couldn't get any bites on this. But then suddenly they pulled the listing after 3 weeks, and they put it on this commercial auction site called 10X. I decided that I would watch this, just in case they came down. And I had offered them $550. I get onto the auction. The auction is a 2-day auction, but it ended at say 1:00, and I get on at 12:30, and I'm just panicked because I don't know if I can register in time. I don't know if I can, what's happening. And there's only one bid, and the bid's for $200,000.
Wow!
And I'm like, this is crazy.
Is it no reserve?
So I'm talking to the agent that I offered $550,000 to, and I said, look, they probably have $1 million reserve, and they're testing the market, right? And she said, hold on, I have to talk to the owners. They're calling me right now. And so she gets off. I had bid $250, and then I get a text, and she says, the owners just said if you bid one more time, they'll drop the reserve. So I bid to $350,000 in fees, $350. I guess they dropped the reserves. I'm hoping they did. And I'm waiting. And then suddenly something comes on my screen. You won the auction, $300,000, $350. But
Wait.
Yeah.
So it was a motel that was asking $1 million, and then you just stuck with it, moved over to this auction site, and, and you picked it up for $350. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was shocked. I was excited, but now whatever cash reserves that I had to put into the first motel, but now that has been taken away. And then I'm putting it into the second motel needs everything, so I've two projects on my hands. And so it became exciting, but it became very real. But because I got it for 350, it meant I had, the cash to do it right. I'm still grinding away, but
did they, just curious how the auction worked? Like when you won that bid for 350, did you still get like an inspection period, which is kind of traditional, right? In a real estate purchase, or is it like, this is final, you're moving forward? How did that work?
I believe it was final and you're moving forward. It was
Okay.
like, you show that you have the funds, when it closes, you're on the hook. You sign.
Yeah.
I think you're on the hook when you sign the papers, and you have like hours to sign the papers, not anything else. The real estate agent was so mad. She was saying, I could have sold this thing. My commission could have been on should have been on $1 million, and now it's this. Oh my God. I'm thinking, yeah, and you knew that I was down for 550 on it as well.
I'm going to pull up some of the pictures that you shared with me. This is it before, right?
This is it before the Mojave Trails Inn and Suites.
Yes.
With anywhere from 1 to 3 stars on any of the websites that you book on.
Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see these photos. If not, it's basically, it looks like a very, very dreary. It's not horrible. Like there's not massive holes in the wall or rats crawling through necessarily, but it looks mildly depressing. There's the outside. Look at how rough that is. Wow.
Yeah. It's not horrible, but when you went in the rooms, they smelled, there were plumbing leaks that weren't handled properly. Everything was bad. Those drop ceilings, I mean, in some ways I look at some of the photos and I think I didn't change that much, and I really had to spend a lot and do a lot, but you really had to take it from the ground up.
I saw that video you sent me of when you guys started on demo, and you're like jumping off this ladder and ripping down the ceilings. Like they were like those low ceilings. And so you just got in there and it looks like you just opened everything up. You ripped open the ceilings. What all did you do? Like, what was your vision to just, take it to that first stage?
I mean, there's so many things that I can look at that it's just like, well, that's wrong, and I hate it, and it just has to come down. The T-bar ceilings were one of them, so I didn't know what was up there or what was going to happen, but we decided to just rip down the T-bar ceilings, and we had beams above them, and they were amazing. So we found it, and we found an extra 3 feet of ceiling height. So we took those down. We decided we have to just redo all the electrical just from top to bottom. And that was a painful cost, of course. The floors, we had fake hardwood and they were horrible. We took those out. We did polished concrete. And the bathrooms, you just showed a picture of the 29 Palms.
He's got this custom tile. If you can't see this photo in the bathroom, where it's like black and white crosses or plus symbols, and then it says 29. The numeral 29 is there. There's you. I don't know what you're doing in this picture.
And we're hanging art. So
you're putting up some new art. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. I have an amazing designer, Kristen Schultz, and she really helped me with all of this. Helped me make all of this just so custom. So, what I was hanging up was a custom map of the area, and it says you are here, and then there's, you can see where you are on the map. And the bathrooms, we put these custom tiles with the 29s. For the soap, we take the soaps out and we put them in brown paper sleeves, and it says Ramsey Soap Company, Ramsey 29 Soap Company. Everything is embroidered. has 29s on them, has the name of the motel. So many things have been repurposed. We have military stretchers from Italy that are the back headboards, and then we just have these ropes as a design detail. We're close to a military base, so the idea was to not make a military hotel, but to give tribute to that. So we have these laundry bags that are canvas from the military that say U.S. laundry. It actually says soiled laundry.
Even your door, look at this new exterior. I love it. And the door's like, it's not really a military green. It's a beautiful green, but the door says number 4 on it. It looks like a tank, kind of like a tank number or something. It's cool.
Yeah. So you can see in that last one, we have the pool, and the pool is kind of the last thing that we're working on. Redoing that and really making it amazing, adding a hot tub. And so that's going to really take it to another level. Right now, we're just, we have beautiful rooms. We have an amazing restaurant. And we have that's the walkway to the restaurant. Tons of cactus and landscaping and just like an authentic look. That painting on the walls, the old key card, I don't know, it's just a note that they had on the outside of the door that said check-in and check-out times. I've had people get mad at me that were too loud with telling them when to check out based on that. And it's like, no, this is just like an old, relic from probably not the 50s, but, an old relic that they, was on the motel that we wanted to show,
Yeah, I love it. So I'm going to pull up actually a few of the restaurant ones as well. I think you sent me some of the kitchen in the desert befores and after.
Yeah, anyone who's been here will really get a kick out of this. I mean, there's all the cars parked in the parking lot in the front. We just had this tiny patio. Oh, this was our first party that Everton threw. So, I think he gave food and beers away. So it was literally free. And there was a DJ, and then they were selling vintage clothing, and
these are all the before pictures. Oh yeah,
these are the before. So we had 4 seats outside. This is even after I'd been there for a little bit because that was the liquor license fence that we put in. This is the inside, which now the inside, we don't even sit inside. It's more of a bar and a lounge.
Yeah, the inside looks like, just like a comfort inn sort of breakfast room, right? There's nothing special. It looks like one of those rooms where you get your free breakfast at a hotel. Not very exciting.
Those tables and chairs were $1 a piece, and a few of the chairs still live.
Oh, wow. Now look at it now. Yeah. This is incredible.
We have DJs and live music, and the sun sails certainly set an amazing mood and tone and protect you from the sun as well.
Great space where you could do a wedding and an event as well.
Yeah, there's been a few weddings, and my friends are getting married there in October, which I'm excited about. But it's such a vibe. That's comedy night that we have. What's really amazing about it, besides that, Everton's food is literally the best dinner you can get in the desert, and the brunches are just incredible. This whole thing's evolving. We're struggling entrepreneurs trying to do something unique, trying to make something special. And every time you come, you see the hard work that Everton's put in, or something that I've put in. That's both at the motel and the kitchen, and not just what we've put in, but everyone else who's a part of it. And all the people that work at the kitchen, it's as if they own it. They feel so a part of it, and it's just really cool. And that was the thing, building a community and building a space that people, feel a part of. Yeah. And the customers feel a part of it too, so it's rare to find an authentic experience. And, that's what we've been able to create.
I love it. You can see you put so much love, blood, sweat, and tears and love into this property. What would we say to someone who's thinking about getting, they really want to get into the hospitality business and on the ownership side, right? So it's very much you're creating this hospitality environment, both the restaurant and with the motel, and the synergy between the two. What would you say to someone wanting to get into that? What is something that you've learned or a nugget you could pass on?
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
I mean, on the restaurant side, I have so much to learn. I've really let Everton, do his thing, and anything I've learned has been more from afar, watching and all of that. But I've definitely learned some. But on the overall thing, I feel like what I've learned is if you can do something like this, it's just so important to have this synergy, to have a restaurant and a vibe that supports a motel, hotel, to create that experience, And then now we have the opportunity. I can add more bedrooms by the kitchen, or I can add shops and stores. So that's all. I've always thought I was going to add more bedrooms because it would be so cool to have bedrooms. There's such cool buildings, and I still might do some of that. But in the meantime, I'm finally getting motivated to get some amazing stores in there. So we started with a flower shop. I thought nobody's going to buy flowers. I mean, maybe a few people, but I don't know that can be a sustainable business, or who's going to be really excited about it. It turns out if you put someone in that has a passion and is creative, and what I'm looking for is a unique high-end experience. People will pay for it, support it, visit it, no matter what. And this flower shop is just incredible. And this girl, Stacy, makes the most incredible flowers arrangements. I don't even know how to describe it because she picks all kinds of amazing flowers. And it's not just the typical, red roses type of situation.
Right. I think you're describing to us right there. So you're kind of have this big overall vision of gathering people and creating community. And within that, like even when I asked you about hospitality, you're like, well, with the restaurant business, I kind of have, you've got these people that have passion and are gifted in very specific ways that you're gathering around you to really cause this thing to just heat up and be an attraction, right? And make people want to come and hang out there and spend time there and spend money there. And I love that. I love that you're leveraging that.
And that's something that, we all have different things that we lean to, or skill sets, or, I don't want to borrow a lot unless it's in a smart way and from a bank, and all of that is great. But I don't want to just take on partners and not have a way to pay them back or anything else. I sort of look at doing things on my own, and because I can control that. And so that sort of blocks me also from just trying to pull people in to create this community, because I also have a phobia that get someone in and I can't get them out, and what am I dealing with, and what if their vibe's all weird. So it's actually taken me a long time to get these stores in, or to trust anyone to get in there. So I have another store coming in called Nowhere, California. That's incredible. And I'm really excited about that. I'm still pushing myself to be more inclusive and get more ideas coming to the table and helping people build. And I'm mostly excited for that. For one, we all get better. They're going to make my success, be from here to a spot that I can't even see. I never even could envision the flower store and what it's created. And that's only been a few months in the works. So this is all brand new. But if I can help them start their careers as well, and passion and make money, that really excites me. And then we're sitting here together as a community, and we have Everton, and we have Stacy, and we have Brig and Bobby of the news store, and I'm not even going to mention the hundreds of people that have been a part of the Kitchen in the Desert that Everton has under his umbrella, been able to be a part of that and make the area home. And, it's just incredible. So I'm now looking at, how can I have, yoga in the morning, or how can I have other people doing things,
create community. Absolutely.
Yeah. In the same time, another lesson that I learned, I actually learned this interviewing best real estate professionals, in the business, selling tens of millions of dollars houses around the country. They said that they don't get competitive with the other agents, that they really embrace them and bring them in. And so I've taken that same strategy for everything that I'm doing. So when another restaurant wants to come to town, I don't have a jealous bone in my body. I'm begging them to come to town.
Right.
I'm rolling the red carpet. What can we do for you? How can we
Right.
promote you? We're promoting the other businesses, the other hotels. I'm promoting the other hotels in town because I know that, I mean, this town is really raw and rugged, and Kitchen in the Desert was kind of the first big thing here. It's really one of the first things of its kind, and the Motel is not the first, but definitely of its style, probably the first in the area. If people come here and then this is the end of the stop, they're never coming back. They may, they may love it, they may have a nice experience, but it's kind of like, okay, you get here, you have an amazing dinner, and then if you look around, what else is there? What else is going on,
Right. And they'll come back. All right. Let's wrap with this. I want to ask you to be spearheading like that in the desert. And even as it goes back to Detroit days and spearheading there, like you've had to overcome some limiting beliefs. You and I have talked about this. I'm constantly having to overcome limiting beliefs. I just closed last week on a $2.5 million fixer, right? And I had to overcome just constant limiting beliefs that were telling me that I wasn't going to be able to pull this off, or I'm not good enough at whatever, just all this nonsense. So what are some of just maybe you can give me just one big limiting belief that you had to overcome to push through to get this done?
I do love that you're struggling with this, because I've nicknamed you Rich Allen now, because, Allen started, managing properties, and he's friends of mine that I think he was basically babysitting them and teaching them and
tutoring and mentoring, doing all kinds of stuff. I had a little computer business where I was doing computer support. I was doing whatever to get money coming in the door.
So they knew him back when he was a tutor, and then he went into property management, and then we're buying homes in Detroit, and then he's buying 200 unit apartment buildings, starting with some smaller ones and flipping to some bigger ones. And
so you're saying now, I helped you overcome your limiting beliefs? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying this is amazing that you even have them anymore.
Oh, I have so many that I fight through. Yeah.
So now I'm like, wow, this is amazing. You just liquidated your apartment building. And so he was going into this simple house flip, but it's expensive, and it's on the beach, talking to me about the deal. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? You can, like, even if you did this wrong, you would at least break even. Like, go for it. So, limiting belief. So this is my number one thing about, I'm crazy about real estate. Anyone I talk to, I tell them to get in, get fast, but buy often. And of course you need some instinct with it, because you could go south, but a lot of this is stuff that people can do. Real estate really is kind of, dummies can do it.
It's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science, but you have instincts are what you need more than anything else, and you have to overcome these limiting beliefs, because every single deal you do, until you've really made it, it's hard. It's a struggle. How do you get a loan? How do you buy a property? How are you going to afford anything? And I think that you have to not start at, it's not even limiting the beliefs. You can't start at like the barriers, because when I talk to people, they say, well, I got to get a first home, or I got, it's like, no, you need cash flow. You need to make money. You need to, do something, and then maybe you can have a home. Every single deal that you do, there's 100 reasons not to do it. The payments, 20% down. Oh, the interest rates are 6%, the 10%, 20%. In Argentina, they're like 90% interest rates, and people utilize them, and they get moving, and they do what they need to do because they work with what they have.
If you're paying rent, then your interest rate is 100%. So that's an interesting thing to think about as well. But that's good motivation to just figure out, how do I get over these hurdles you're talking about, right?
Exactly. And the way I did it, which there are a lot better ways. I look at these people who talk about, hey, you can buy a house with no money. You can broker a deal, get a house in contract, and then get someone else to buy that house in contract for more in the same period of time. So there's creative ways that you can do it that are more creative than what I've done. But what I did was, you showed me a house in Detroit for, $33,000. I could do that. I got a condo that was, the least expensive, at the time for, 300,000. I came out to the desert and I bought 5 acres and a little house for 33,000. I was able to buy these properties out here when I could. And so I had partners on a house that I flipped that was in Rancho Mirage, and got another one in Yucca that, and that was an amazing opportunity. But I couldn't afford $800,000 house on my own. We went into it 4 ways. My partner and I were actually I think we were only 25% of the deal, but it was still enough to do something. We doubled our money. We did more than that, but the house went from $1 million to a $2 million house that we bought. And it was just because we were able to kick down the barriers of entry.
That's it.
And it's a mental game. You have to just kick them down. Once you realize that you have to kick them down, maybe you just look for the hardest questions of why you can't do it. And just look forward to kicking them down.
Look for ways to kick the big questions down. I love that. And you never quit. You just never quit. You just kept plodding at it. And I love it. Man, so rich. Such a good story. People can get a hold of you at Ramsey 29 in the desert, or at the kitchen in the desert. They can come see you, hear more of this story. I'm so grateful for your friendship and just for hanging with us today. Thank you so much for sharing the story. And I look forward to going deeper into some of these other deals you've done on another episode. We'll see you soon. Thanks again.
Epic. All right. I'll see you. And thank you as well. This is awesome. And I'm excited about more of your podcast, because this is so cool, being able to dive into how people are making it in real estate and what they're doing, and seeing
in California.
In California. And
we're doing it in California. Can you believe it? I mean, all these gurus saying you can't invest in California, you can't make money there, it's too hard. And look at you. You're doing it. Love it.
Yeah. It's still a grind. It's always a grind, but it's
not easy.
Right. Yeah, not easy, but you progress. Yeah. And I keep telling myself, that's the joy of it. There was a point where I said, I still have 4 rooms that I'm working on at the motel. I still have the pool. I still have palm trees and everything else. This is the enjoyable part. When it's over, it's going to be sad. And I'll be on to another project. And hopefully I enjoy that, just as much, and keep growing. But for this project, this is the joy, the rustic.
Love it, man. Well, everyone go see Ashton in the desert, as I'm going to do soon here. And thanks again. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for listening to the California Real Estate Investor Podcast. We'd love a review on whatever podcast platform you listen to this on. Also, visit us at thecaliforniarealestateinvestor.com or our Facebook group, The California Real Estate Investor. We look forward to connecting with you and encouraging you on your real estate investing journey.